of dreams. Parents united, stronger than they seem. With every hug and word we say, we're building futures day by day. Building strong foundations right from the start. Teaching with love, pouring from the heart. Parenting for the future, hold on tight. Together we will guide them right. Nurturing dreams, watching them grow. In every moment, love we show. With each challenge we embrace, we're building strength and endless grace.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. You're welcome to the final virtual session. It's been an amazing time we've had since yesterday. Amazing time. In fact, the last session was a hit. It was powerful. I took a lot of notes. You're welcome. Tell us where you're joining from. Welcome, parents. Please remember to share. We can't keep this alone. We need to share with other parents. You're welcome. I'm Stella Bell. I'm your host tonight. I'm the founder of CCCA Academy and the director for African Doctors for Africa. Trust me, there's a saying that is saving the best for the last. So trust me, the last is going to definitely be the best. You're welcome. Tell us where you're connecting from. And please get your writing materials, take notes. There's no way you can listen without taking notes. It's serious bullet points dropping. And yeah, parents, join us. Remember to drop your questions in the chat box as well.
Hello, Stella.
Hi, Sandra. Good evening. Good to meet you.
Thank you for being a moderator for tonight. Thank you so much. How are you? How has it been?
I'm very fine. It's been amazing.
What has been hitting you from side to side since yesterday?
Yesterday was amazing. The structure, creating Monday's session was quite enlightening. Many times we are so busy and we always complain, that the kids are not doing this. Meanwhile, we parents on our side, we are not creating the structure. We are not leading them right. They sometimes don't even know what to do next. So yesterday, that session by Mandy really hit me. And then the last session, wow, it was powerful. I'm actually guilty, of using my phones in the night instead of sleeping. Before we sleep, we're on the phone. We don't rest.
Yeah, it was so much. There were so many light bulb moments, and I'm just happy that it's been a great time of learning. And what I have been emphasizing is much more than the learning. What are we going to do with the information? How are we going to be taking action? And that's just what I'm going to say again. We are going to be hearing from somebody who I admire and respect a lot, very sound in this matters that we're about to talk about. And I really want to encourage everyone listening to listen with intent, and listen with the understanding that a transformation can hit you, right? When we're in programs like this, it might just be one word for you. I have taken in so many words and I have so many takeaways myself. But you know what? This is the last session, and I know that this is going to be a great way to end the virtual sessions of this conference. So please, if you know anyone who should be on this um, call, kindly share the link with them and just call everybody. There's a saying in child safety and protection that no child is safe. No, it says your child is not safe until every child is safe. This is not the time to hoard information to say, oh, children are still going to go out there, they would interact. So one of the best ways you can actually contribute your own quota to make the world a better place is by sharing messages like this. So invite people, share the link, and tell them that the Queen of Happiness and Flourishing is about to release some gems. Okay. So we will have her bio read right now because she's here with us already, so we don't eat into her time. So we'll have her bio. And
is the founder of Happify Humanity Project and the Director of Studies at the Institute of Family Engineering and Development. She is a certified positive psychology coach with the Flourishing Center USA, a licensed emotional intelligence assessor from the prestigious 6 Seconds Emotional Intelligence Network USA, a master practitioner of neurolinguistics, a master trainer of family systems engineering, and a certified meditator from the International Mediation Institute, Germany. She is rigorously trained in the field of human flourishing with respect to mental and emotional well-being and what it takes to live a meaningful life. She brings her expertise to work as a coach, consultant, trainer, and mentor on individual, family, and organizational well-being with individuals, families, and organizations from Africa, the USA, the UK, and parts of Europe. DINMA is a happy soul who loves meaningful connections. Welcome, NWOBI.
Hello, ladies. Stella.
Good evening. Good
How are you?
evening. Good to meet you on stage, ma'am.
Yeah, my pleasure being here as well.
Thank you so much, Mrs. DINMA, for taking time out to be here with us. We really look forward to learning from you tonight. You know, parents have cycles upon cycles of trauma that they're dealing with, that they are subliminally transferring to their children. And, you know, until we come to terms with the fact that we really need help, we'll just keep living in denial and keep complaining, oh, I don't know why this child is acting like this, without also looking inwards to say, how am I, you know, contributing to how this child is being programmed. So this is such an interesting and important topic. Thank you so much for taking time out to be here. So we yield the floor to you.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. Thank you, Sarah, Sandra, and Stella for that warm welcome. I hope I'll be able to, let me see, present my slides. Yep. Um, okay, give me a minute.
Okay. Have you found the present button?
I have. It is uploading. But whilst we're getting at that, I want to celebrate what you're doing at Winning in Parenting because it's such a great task. You know, I tell people that if we're able to get parenting right, we will be able to transform our nation and export it to the world. So, for you and every member of your team, thank you for what you're doing. And for every parent who has taken time out to be here, thank you also for, giving yourself this gift. So, I need to know how, I don't know how they do slide presentation here, but maybe I'll just talk because my slide is showing. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So yes, because I want to be able to touch even the people who are also visual learners, so that we can all enjoy a rich time. So, like I said, welcome. I've been charged to talk about healing your inner child as a parent so that we can all break negative generational cycle for a healthy family legacy. And I just want to quickly let you know this: parenting is tough. You want to, first of all, recognize that. And so, for every parent here, whether you have stories of plenty successes, stories of near successes, stories that you would have classified as failures, I want you to know that the work you're doing is tough. You are also a human being figuring yourself out, learning the ropes, healing from whatever may have happened to you. And so, even to lead another person is tough. And we need to acknowledge that. So, that is why I want you, wherever you are, provided you're not driving, to just mirror the people that you're seeing on your screen. I want you to hug yourself. I want you to take your hands and put it across your chest and just give yourself a warm hug. And whilst you're doing that, call yourself by your name and the names of the children that are under your care. So my name is Chidinma. I'm saying, Chidinma, well done. You have been a great parent to Kosi. You are a great parent to Kachim. You are a great parent to Kamara. You are a great parent to Kobe. All the work you're doing is counting because you are marvelous. You are amazing. So why don't you just do that for yourself? Give yourself this warm hug and really allow yourself to appreciate yourself because you have done amazing. And I don't know the last time you gave yourself this kind of hug. And yes, we're here to talk about healing inner child wounds. But even if your heart has been wounded, even if your inner child is bleeding, you have still continued in this journey with all of the confusions, with all of the uncertainties, with everything that may have been challenging you. So if you feel that you don't have a reason to hug yourself as a parent, let me remind you that so far you have not quitted. So far you have not given up. So give yourself that hug because you truly deserve it. And so let's talk about this parenting challenges. And I would like for you, I'm sure for those watching on YouTube, you can type in your challenges. What are those challenges that you have been facing as a parent? Is it being able to connect with your children? When I came in, I heard Stella talking about one of the aha moments she took from an initial session was talking about certain structures. So are you struggling with certain structures? Are you struggling with disciplining your children? Are you struggling from even being consistent? What are you struggling with? Because that is important that you know. If you are able to identify your issues, then you will know how they may be rooted in some things that I'm going to bring to your awareness today. Because when you look at whatever challenges that it is that you are facing as parents, there are two key things that if you look deep into it, if you look deep into it, you begin to see that many of us as parents have been looking at the branches for what is at the roots. If you're talking about structure, why are you struggling with certain structures? If it's about discipline, if it's about being overprotective, whatever it is, if it is a persistent struggle for you, maybe it has something to do with the roots that you've not yet paid attention to. And looking at parenting challenges, one of the key ones, so my compassion fatigue is what is there. I think it's how the slide is set up. So compassion fatigue. Are you that parent that is constantly overwhelmed because you think you have to be the El Shaddai to your parents, to your children? You want to do everything for them. You want to provide everything. You want to be they come back from school, you are there, you're receiving them. They do this, you're making their beds. In fact, I have clients that I'm working with who still do the housekeeping chores for their children who are teenagers. And I had to look at the mother one day and say, do you know you are destroying those children? How can you be cleaning the bathroom of your 14-year-old? How can you be the one washing and packing in the clothes of your child who is 16? Oh, they have school. When they come back from school, they are tired. I'm like, no. Compassion fatigue is rooted in unhealed childhood trauma. Because there's something in you that makes you feel that how to give back the love you may have lacked as a child, or how to prove to the world that you are capable, you are good enough, is that you're going to be there for your children, and you are being there for them whilst you are also destroying them. Because the home is the place where children first catch life skills before they are taught. So whatever it is, do you see yourself having this El Shaddai mentality? What could be the root cause to it? Another thing is performance anxiety. And many a times, again, I see with the advocacy that is out there for parenting, people are like, oh, I have to be the best parent. And I dare say sometimes even the experts who project all of these things do it and put us in a place of fear. Parenting is not a journey of fear. Parenting should be embraced from faith. And so you want to be the best parent. You want to dot the I's, cross the C's. Have you ever imagined that even the ideology to be a perfect person, because nobody is perfect, but if you are caught in the bulk of being a perfect parent, maybe it's a signal to an unhealed childhood trauma that you are not consciously aware of. And until you make the unconscious conscious, it will continue to direct your life, and you will call it faith. So are you that parent who is bogged down, always overwhelmed, tired? You want to do everything. I love my children. I don't want them to suffer. I don't want them to do that. Do you know that it could be trauma speaking through you? Or it is you who is that performer. Let me be the best parent. I want to raise the best children. Maybe it is because, again, there are some trauma in your life that you've not identified. So I want to help you identify it and possibly guide you through the steps to heal those traumas so that it will stop at your generation. So what if all this while, the challenges you're facing, the struggles in your parenting that continue to stay there, that are persistent, that are not able to wash over, the times you judge yourself as a parent, the times you are judging your children and you're not providing for them what they need to be wholesome people. Because I say to people, what it takes to raise a child are these 3 R's. Being a resourceful parent, being a parent who is responsive, and being a parent who is resilient. But if you find yourself struggling with being resourceful, being able to know what to do and do it at the right time, being responsive, attending to the needs of your children that are spoken and not unspoken, and being resilient, being able to weather the different changes and challenges of parenting, maybe you have been parenting from behind a mask without knowing it. So if you are that overcommitted parent, over-indulging parent, overly correcting parent, everything beyond just being this present, resourceful, responsive, and resilient parent, could you be operating behind a mask? Because until you are able to identify, first of all, that you're wearing a mask and take it away, you will continue the negative generational patterns that have been handed over from generation to generation. I was hoping I'd be able to interact with the people on YouTube so that when they ask their questions or their observations, I can see it sliding and I'm able to respond on time. I usually do not want to just talk, because we have plenty seminars where people are talking and then they go and they're still the same way. So I would prefer the comments from YouTube scrolling over beyond the speaking DINMA NWOBI. They already know it's DINMA speaking. Let me connect with the audience because that's what we need right now. All right. So thank you for that. So my question now would be, who raised you? That's a very critical question. Well, I'm not even talking about your direct parents. The people who raised the person that raised you. What do you know about your grandparents? What do you know about your great-grandparents? What do you know about your family lineage? Because even though you did not meet your grandparents, for those who didn't meet their grandparents, even though you did not meet your great-grandparents, they may be resting with the Lord now, are still impacting how you do parenting. Because we become like the people who raised us, and the people who raised us are like the people who raised them. So I was working with a father, and he has these anger tantrums, always shouting at his children, never being able to listen to him. And I gave him an assignment: go and find out who your grandfather was, and go and find out who your great-grandfather was. And he came with a big revelation. His great-grandfather was the terror of the community. His great-grandfather was such that when he was fighting with people for their land, people would just say, leave the land for him, leave the land. He was a terror. They feared him. And he's wondering why his children are fearing him, because he was raised by a father who was raised by the terror of the land. So he himself became a terror. Or are we beginning to say, oh, as a parent, we're saying, parents, learn emotional intelligence. How are you able to be in your home and your children cannot express their emotions to you? And I was saying to someone, can you ask that parent who taught him emotional intelligence? How did his parents, even as when he was a child, help him normalize that emotions are real? Or is it when he felt emotions, they're like, come on, go and sit down, you're a man, buckle up, be a man. And then the man becomes a father, and you want him to be able to regulate emotions? You can regulate what you don't know. So I'm asking you, when you look at the things that you're struggling with in your parenting journey, are there things your parents struggled with? Are there things your grandfather struggled with? Are there things that is a pattern that has been passed from one generation to generation? Because until you get to the root of the matter, you will continue to treat the symptoms, and the same circle that is disempowering will continue in your family. And let me tell you, and I'm saying it with all sense of seriousness, even check your own home. Think of the earliest memories you have about growing up. What were you taught about relationship between father and son, between mother and son? What was your home like when it came to people being honest? Somebody said to me, I broke a glass cup. And then when my mother asked, I owned up, and I was given the beating of my life. And that was the last day that she spoke the truth. Another person was in a school, and the school, they did, she and her friends engaged in examination malpractice, and they were not caught. They got like, their conscience pricked them, and they went to report to the school authority that, hey, in so exam of last term, we did examination malpractice. And the school says that their policy, that when you match the word, catch somebody in examination malpractice, their policy is to expel the person. And so the school called a committee and said they were going to expel the children. And I said to them, this is the death of honesty in your school. Your policy says if you catch, but you didn't catch them. So that means that there is something, you have raised children who are truthful, but of course they went ahead and demoted them to repeat a class and all that. And tell me, if you are that child and you end up becoming a parent, how truthful will you be? So I need you to know that the people who raised you, if they have healthy patterns, they have passed the patterns to you. If they have unhealthy patterns, they have passed it to you. But thankfully, you can choose to heal your inner child as a parent so that you can break that circle, and you have what it takes to break the circle. So let me share with you. I'm going to just quickly run through this because I don't want to spend the whole time here. Because sometimes you're talking about trauma to people, you're talking about healing the inner child. Some people can't relate because they have been in a circle of pain and trauma almost all their life, that is what they know about life. What is trauma? Trauma is any negative event that left a significant negative impact on you mentally and emotionally. And when you look at trauma, particularly the ones that happen to us between the ages of 0 to 18, continue to mark our lives even unto death if something is not done to change the pattern. And so trauma, the way it happens, it doesn't have to happen directly to you. Well, maybe you are not the one bullied. Maybe you are not the one that was abused. Maybe you are not the one that was betrayed. Maybe you are not the one that was whatever it is. But there is also an intrapersonal trauma that could be affecting your life. Did you grow up in a place where your parents were harsh with the house help? Did you grow up in a place where your parents were always fighting? Did you witness an accident or whatever? Those are levels of trauma, but they leave some wounds. So I'm just going to run through this so that you are able to recognize, because healing starts with self-awareness. And so I want you to look through this inner child wounds. We're talking about healing the inner child. Which of these wounds could be present in you? Take, for example, the rejection wound. Did you feel rejected and unwanted as a child? And this even states back to even when you are in the womb. I have a client who her journey of trauma started with when they were pregnant for her. And scientists can tell you that even a trauma of a child in the womb can manifest after the child is born, because there was an unwanted environment. The parents didn't want a child at that time, and they got pregnant and they were like, we don't want this. By the time she came, they had to give her up for someone because they wanted to build their career, and he left her with that wound. Are you aware that if you've ever felt rejected, whether as by your parents, by your friends, by society, right? One of the things it does for you is that you'll be seeking validation in your children. You'll be wanting to be a pleaser as a parent. When your child asks you for one thing, you give it. You can't say no to your child because you want to feel accepted. You don't want to feel that rejection that you felt in your child. So it's difficult for you to even appreciate your child's individuality. Have you seen parents that can't say no to their children? It's not healthy. It's trauma speaking in that parent, but the parent is not aware. What of humiliation wound? If you as a parent now, all through your journey of life, childhood or even through adolescent, you have been humiliated at any time, you're going to be that parent that uses shame as a parenting tool. So your child does something, you say, I will drag you around the street so people will know that. I'm like, are you insane? A young child of 13 stole a pen one day in school, and another day he stole something in his classmate's lunchbox, and the parent gave consent for this young boy to be paraded around the classes, and they were singing for him, thief, 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 in 2024. And I said to her, you think that is parenting, but you are pouring your humiliation wound on your child. Somewhere along the line in the journey of your life, especially maybe when you were a child, somebody shamed you for doing wrong. And so it is encoded in your brain that shame is a parenting tool. But unknown to that parent, what they did was to steal the self-esteem of their child. So is that you? Or you embarrass your child when they misbehave. You criticize them without recognizing that there are some behaviors that are age appropriate. What of injustice wound? Have you felt that life has been unjust to you? A young boy said to me, now this is a 35-year-old man. And when we began to look at his inner child, He was struggling in his marriage. And he said to me, I have always thought that my parents were unfair to me because he was the only one who was sent to boarding house out of his siblings. Now, this was a last-born child, and the parents felt, oh, if we send him to boarding house, they would tamper down his last-born excesses. And it's like, why me? Why did my elder brother go? Why did my elder sister? And so it left a wound of injustice in his inner child. And now he grows up a man who is overly rigid, who thinks he's an authoritarian, who does not tolerate mistakes. And then when his children make mistakes, it's like, child. Meanwhile, it's not the child that wounded your inner child. You're trying to get the justice you didn't get as a child through your children, and you are messing up your children because you have not addressed the wound that is eating deep into your soul. Or do we talk about betrayal? Maybe you felt you've been betrayed, either by a parent, either by a friend, or whatever. And so even you as a parent, you're struggling to trust your children. One of the times one of our daughters was hanging out with her friends, and I'm like, oh, I was somewhere, and I'm like, okay, have you called the Uber? Just send me the tracking, so I'm tracking you. And she's like, you're allowing her enter Uber alone? I'm like, excuse me, this girl is 17. She's leaving the country to go and study abroad. Am I going to be with her if I don't teach her how to take a ride and teach her what to do to stay safe? When she's in Canada, will I be there taking her from one point to the other? And she says, I can't do it. So anywhere my children are going is either me or my husband will be in the car. And I said, for your adult child that has finished secondary school, oh no, maybe there is a betrayal wound that you don't know. Yet, you attend these seminars, you are learning structures, you are learning systems, but you can't even trust your children to take a step. My sister, it is not parenting you're doing. My brother, there is something you are not addressing because maybe your inner child has been betrayed. And so you think that how to protect my children from any force of danger is to be overprotective, hyper vigilant, that even the child gets tired of you and begins to lie to you because they don't want you to be all over them. We're talking healing the inner child. You can't heal your inner child without identifying how your inner child has been wounded. Or should we talk about abandonment wounds? Maybe somebody who felt, oh, my parents abandoned me. I was raised by my grandmother. I was raised by a foster whatever. I was raised, or my friends, for one thing or the other. Because all these wounds, remember, I said from 0 to 18 are the most significant. So it might not just be your parents. It could be even your perception. And let me tell you something. The way these wounds happen may not necessarily even be that your parents or whoever is the adult in your life wanted this to happen. It could just be something they did. And I give you an instance. Say, for example, a child is very clingy on the parents and is always complaining, I'm having nightmares and all that. And is a 9-year-old, is a 10-year-old. And the parents are trying to say, let's teach him how to stay safe in his room. And so they stop that child from coming to sleep in their room and, are creating strategies for the child to embrace his own bed. In the child's brain, it could encode, they don't love me, they abandon me so that the witches will snatch me. But the parents know we are helping him to build resilience. So even these wounds do not necessarily be the intention of the people who wounded us. It's just our interpretation of it. And so if somebody is dealing with abandonment, you become over clingy, you're controlling. You fear your children leaving you, and then you're struggling to let your children explore their independence. And then these same parents will also shout when the children are not being assertive. You have a 10-year-old child who cannot hold a conversation, and you're like, because you have not allowed them grow their skills of conversation. You've not allowed them make mistakes. You've not allowed them go through life. Should we talk about the neglect wound? Maybe you were neglected as you felt neglected. Let me put it that way. It's a feeling. You felt neglected. And so you're overcompensating by being overly involved. or excessively permissive. That's why I ask people, why do you do your homework for your children? How do they learn to research and problem solve? Because some parents will say, I want to do it so that he will be very good. And then at the end of the school year, they are winning awards for something that your child cannot defend outside. And you call that parenting? Nah. If you have been wounded due neglect, you will struggle with emotional availability because it's not in you. So I always say to people, rather than complain, my partner is not doing this, oh, I'm not able to do this, go to the root, find out what it is that your inner child missed that is trying to compensate for. Because until you get to the root, you will continue to treat the symptoms and your challenges will continue to persist. Or is it trust wound? You have issues trusting people, so you're struggling with trusting your child, or you've been controlled all your life. Most of us that were raised by African parents, we are all embodying control wounds until deliverance happens. Because you're not able to do anything as a child without your parents approving, and then you are scared to even ask them questions. So whatever they say, you do, even if you don't understand it. And then you grow into a parent and you want to control all the aspects of your children's life. You want to tell them when to stand. You want to tell them when to sit. You want to tell them, meanwhile, you didn't like it when your parents were doing it to you. But unfortunately, we unconsciously become like the people who raised us, whether we like their ways or not. What about shame? What about guilt? What about people who have been wounded? So all of these things could be what is sabotaging your parenting progress. Could be what is leading to the challenges you're having. Stella was talking about certain structures. Tell me, for example, how a parent who is dealing with rejection wound will set systems in the home. Because the children will violate the systems and he or she will not have the willpower to enforce it. Remember, she is seeking validation. So the system is already dead on arrival without her addressing her rejection wound. Or you tell parents, release your children so that they can learn life skills, so that they can do that. How will somebody that is nursing abandonment wound allow the children to learn the ropes when she's afraid or he is afraid that independence will destroy them? So I always say to parents, whatever, we are always putting our focus on the behaviors that should be done. But we forget that the person who does the behavior is a healed human being, is a whole human being. That if any wound is still present in the inner child, the person will continue to struggle in the area that is highlighted by that wound until they are healed of the wound. And so if you're listening to me and you are a parent, and there's a particular area you feel you've been struggling with in your parenting journey, forget about going to any seminar to learn how to set systems. Forget about meeting anybody to teach you how to do discipline. Forget it, because if you don't heal your inner child, everything they teach you, you might do it for 1 week, but by the next week, your inner critic reminds you of the loss of your inner child and you will go back to the old circle. So if there's any parenting challenge that has persisted for you, the best thing to do is to deal with it, is to address it. And so I don't know, what mask have you been wearing? Maybe you didn't even know that this is what has been challenging me, or this is what has been beclouding my progress. But as I'm speaking with you, are you identifying? Is something resonating with you? Because if you don't deal with this, you are still going to raise children who will not know how to handle, and that's how the circle continues and continues and continues. But I'm here to tell you that you can be the new ancestor. You can be the one that says, you know what, we will no longer continue to walk in ignorance in this lineage. I don't know what impacted my great-grandparents that made them to impact my grandparents the way they did, that made them to impact my parents the way it did. But on my own watch, the negativity stops. On my own watch, the cycle of trauma stops. And so if there's somebody here who is ready to go this journey with me, can I get your yeses here? Because I'm going to be showing you a simple step process to heal that inner child of yours. Okay? So it's going to be starting with PAUSE. PAUSE is the acronym that we're going to use. And if you forget everything I have said today, please don't forget PAUSE. Don't forget PAUSE. Take it, put it somewhere, and work with it. And so what does PAUSE mean? Because all of us as parents must at one time or the other pause. Take a break from performance. Take a break from provision. Take a break from compassion and just analyze where you are. Analyze where you are. This is a skill that you need. And I want to be frank with you. Healing is a process. Healing is a process. So please embrace the process. And what's the first thing I want you to do? Thank you to everyone saying yes, yes, yes. I am also saying yes. Because I was, as a child, wounded with that wound of humiliation. Because I grew up as a young child with a very sensitive skin, having spots on my body. And then even my mother did all she could. We went from one dermatologist to the other just to deal with it. And I was the one most affected in my family of 7 children. And so I grew up believing that I was ugly. I grew up having a poor body confidence just because of that humiliation of looking different from my siblings. So I can tell you how it made me tiptoe through adolescence. But if I'm to tell you my story of healing, 3 things were very significant. One was my found love for God. And so I gave my life to God at the age of 13 when I was in secondary school. That was one of the things that helped to heal me. Second was personal development. Even from the age of 13, I was reading self-help books. I was reading to revalidate that I was more than my skin. I was reading to revalidate that there was something in me. And then thirdly was love. By the time I was in university, I met my husband. And even at that, when we were getting married, I still had the spots. People were like, this woman with the croco on her body, of all the fine girls, right? But then he loved me out of the low self-esteem and body confidence thing. So I'm telling you that it doesn't matter what wound you bear, you can heal it, because if you don't heal it, it's going to affect how you relate with your children. So what's the first P in PAUSE? The first P in PAUSE is to ponder. I want you, after tonight's experience, to take a moment to pause and then begin to ponder. Think about your earliest memories as a child. What kind of environment did you grow up in? What kind of relationship did you have with your parents? What kind of relationship did your parents have with themselves? What kind of relationships did you have with your peers? Because adolescence is a critical time when we form our self-identity. So were you somebody who felt you belonged? Did you feel like you did not belong? What was it? Because it has left some impression in you. And as you pause, allow yourself to connect the dots. Think even in your parenting journey. What mistakes have you continued to make? And how do they relate to who you have become as a result of the experiences you've had in life? And as you do that, even for some people, they have been so associated with pain that they can't reflect. I was working with someone and I gave an exercise to do visualization. And the person said to me, I don't know, I can't visualize. Because I don't even know how it is to dream. And I could relate because I understand. Because trauma that builds on other trauma becomes complex. Now imagine if somebody is a wounded child and then all through adolescence you even had horrible relationships. Then maybe you are even married now and your relationship with your spouse is not working. It is layer of trauma on layer of trauma. I don't want to talk about marriage, but I need you to know that we unconsciously attract the people who look like our trauma. So even if you're here and you're wondering, how did I end up with this woman? How did I end up with this man? Maybe it was the traumatized you that said yes, not the real you. And it will also impact your parenting. So you need to look at it holistic. All right? So the next thing you need to do when you identify that whatever it is in your journey of life, through your pausing and pondering, please address the root cause of your unhealthful patterns. As a parent, resist fixing symptoms. Resist doing fire brigade. Go to the roots. If it needs you to get therapy, please get therapy. Therapy should be normalized for you as a parent. And even if by reason of your unhealed inner child, you have also traumatized your children, please get family therapy. If your child is struggling with anything, it is not a shame. I am a family life coach, but 2 of my children have had to go through therapy when they needed it, because I understand that I can work with them because it's unethical. But I will not say, oh, I know what to be telling them. I will just be telling them, no. When the challenge needed them to sit with an expert and take therapy sessions, we as a family paid for them to go through therapy. So normalize it. Nobody is perfect. We're all a work in progress. And in treating the root cause, you need to suit your inner child. So for those of you listening to me, I'm hoping that I've not overstayed my time, but I think I still have time. Those of you listening to me, if you could identify with any of these wounds that I've spoken about, and if it has persisted for too long, I will be honest with you, you are too overly identified in the problem to be able to deliver yourself. You need to sit with a renowned, qualified coach to help you. That is why I celebrate what Winning in Parenting is doing. And I'm sure she has a resource of people that can work with you. Because if you don't deal with this is not to make you afraid. Unhealed trauma is storing in your body. Unhealed trauma is weakening your immune system. Unhealed trauma is literally not only affecting your parenting, but killing you softly. Because trauma weakens your body. Your body and your brain remembers the trauma you have gone through, even if you consciously cannot remember it. So whatever it needs to take, please get healing. Work with a therapist, work with a coach, and heal the inner roots. And if you are still bearing bitterness and resentment, whether towards your parents, whether towards society, whether towards God, in the journey of my life, I had to forgive God, do a forgiveness therapy between me and God. That's a long story, but I'll just cut it short. As an adolescent who was brilliant, I can remember all through my education in primary, secondary school, you can count the number of times I did not get first position or even second or third. But here was I, this born again sister, and I wrote JAM 3 times. And even in my JAM lessons, I was teaching people, and then they will write JAM, they will pass. And then I'm writing JAM, people are carrying ESPO, and I'm like, no, I don't do ESPO. I'm a child of God. I'm a chosen. And then I still write the JAM with all of my supposed intelligence, and I did not pass. And I began to hold a grudge against God. So maybe for you, it might not be even a human being you need to forgive, until I had to reconcile that and heal, and then decide to have that conversation and forgive God. So I don't know who you have bitterness against. That bitterness will eat you up and is eating up your children unknown to you. So address it, deal with it. Next one is you have to utilize every experience. Let me tell you something. The way that you know somebody that is healed is that person's radical self-acceptance. Some of us are delaying healing our inner child because we are so ashamed to be associated with what we went through in our lives. But there is no complete healing without self-acceptance. And it's not saying that I like what happened to me in my past. I know it's saying that this happened. It is part of my life journey. I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen, but it will no longer control my life. That's where healing is complete. So I ask some people, we're saying as parents, I don't want my children to suffer. Meanwhile, you suffered. Do your children know your journey? Do they know how you got where you are? Why are you shielding them from reality? Why are you shielding them from knowing the journey you have gone through? Because you are ashamed to share that journey. Because you are not healed enough to assess heights of vulnerability. So every experience that you have gone through in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the scandalous, all of them are materials in your parenting journey. But it depends on the wisdom with which you deploy it so that you don't further traumatize your children, but they are able to understand life by the experiences that you've had. And next one is what? S. Okay, I skipped something. S is self-care. There is no title anywhere for the most exhausted parent. Nobody is coming to clap for you for being the overworked parent. There are no medals in heaven or anywhere for a parent that slumps because I am parenting my child. God has designed it that you flourish and be in health, even as you guide your children to flourish. And so self-care is not a once in a time thing. Self-care is important in your parenting journey. And self-care is a way to heal your inner child. So let me ask you a question. Maybe for some people, your inner child, we know some celebrities who became adults as children stars, but they were not able to live their childhood. And then you see them as adults, they are playing with toys. You don't know it's their inner child they are healing. Somebody said, I wasn't able to have conversations with my father. And so now he's intentional with having a weekly or monthly conversation with his boys. He's suiting that inner child of his who couldn't get that from his father, but he's now doing it as a way of caring. So whether it's your spirit man you're caring for, your mind you are caring for, your body, please normalize that self-care is a lifestyle and self-care is a way to heal your inner child. And lastly, embrace continuous and never-ending improvement. Every one of us has been traumatized in one way or the other. It could be a small trauma, it could be a big trauma, but we all have had events in life that left negative impact on us mentally and emotionally. So we've all been traumatized. And so we are all a work in progress, including me that is sharing this with you. But the beauty about it is that awareness empowers you to be self-compassionate with yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Be kind to yourself. And that self-compassion should awaken self-care. But the secret, and I continue to share that, the secret to breaking negative generational cycles is continuous development. You must commit to learning. There's no two ways about it. And then if you are a parent here, your children are people, you are raising Gen Zs, you are raising Gen Alphas, right? And these are people that have information at their beck and call. And so if you as a parent, you don't have access to information that transforms, my sister, how are you going to raise a Gen Z who knows about life trends more than you? And that is even what may begin to challenge you and pull out your unhealed inner child. Because if your unhealed inner child has been feeling not good enough, not competent enough, not lovable enough, and then you are challenged by a child who is knowledgeable, it just sparks that. So why do you think sometimes as a parent, your child asks you a question, you're like, why are you asking that? My sister, is trauma speaking. Because maybe that child reminded your brain you are not good enough, that you have been believing since. And so rather than recognizing that a trigger is something that reminds you, hey, take a pause, ponder on what is happening, you take it out on your child. So commit to never-ending improvement. And so in all of this, this is all we have talked about. Pause, ponder, address the root causes of the unhelpful patterns, utilize every experience. Self-care is a lifestyle, and embrace continuous and never-ending improvement. So I ask you a question as I wrap up. Do you love your children? And I need you to be honest with that. If you say, I don't know, so I'm assuming, because if you are a parent and you are here, you could be sleeping by this time. You could be dancing by this time, but you're choosing to be here because you want to get something to improve your parenting journey. So that suggests to me that you love your children. And so if you love your children, one of the best demonstrations of love for your children is healing your inner child. Because if you don't heal your inner child, you run the risk of wounding your own children's inner child. And if your answer is that you love your children, then I'm saying to you, give yourself permission to heal. Give yourself permission to continuously practice the pause so that you can rebuild a positive generational legacy. And I'm ending with this. What does legacy mean to you? Some people think legacy is what I want to be remembered for. But how can somebody remember you for something they don't know you for now? So legacy is not in the future. Legacy is in the present. But some parents are so fixated on the past that their head is overwhelmed with all of the bad things that society did not do well for them, all of the things their parents did not do, all of the pain their ex did to them, all of whatever, that they are living in the past. So they are not present in the moment for themselves or even for their children. Then some are so living in the future that, oh, all the things I wish, let me raise this child so that this child will do this for me. Oh, my reward is in heaven, blah, 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 blah. That they are not in the present. Parenting is neither a past journey or a future journey. In fact, the future you dream for yourself and your children is now. So you need to heal, give yourself permission to heal and rebuild a positive generational legacy so that you and your children will be known for something. And what you will be known for will be different from the negativity that anybody in your lineage has been known for. I'm charging you tonight, you can be a new ancestor. You can end the negative generational pattern. You can choose that on my watch, this is how what my family will be known for. And if it takes me healing my unconscious inner child wounds so that my family can be all that it is created to be and be a blessing to this world in my generation, then I'm going to give myself permission to heal. And that's my last admonition for us as I welcome back Stella for us to wrap up. So if you are agreeing that you want to give your inner child permission to heal, I want you to type it there. I love my children, I love myself, and I will give myself permission to heal and rebuild a new positive generational legacy. Everyone who is accepting this with me should type it in the comment section. Let it be an affirmation you're giving yourself, because you and your children and your children's children deserve and desire this. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, DINMA. This is an amazing session. Like I said, we have just saved up the best for the last. This is the foundation of all we've been learning since yesterday. It's like surgery. For me, your session is like surgery, uncovering to heal. It's powerful. Like, there's no way you begin to start setting up structures without even knowing yourself. I remember my first son, there's a way he talks to his siblings, sometimes angrily and a bit harsh when they do something wrong. I'm like, why are you harsh at them? Calm down. I then realize that sometimes that's what I do. So he's doing something he saw me doing. And I told him, I said, hey, I gotta stop this, you know? Yes, this happened to me. I'm like, I became calm. I use more kind words. When they make mistake, I'm not going all out and say, stop this. So when I did that, he started emulating that. So
Yes.
this is really surgery. This is surgery. This is amazing, and I like the pause. The pause. I give myself permission, to really pause. Many a time we are just into performance. We want to do it like this. Sometimes the society is not even helping matters. When you go to Instagram, you see what parents are doing for their children, showing off, and then a lot of people get lost. You be like, okay, I want to be like this. Okay, maybe my child will say I didn't do this well, maybe, so the society is really not helping us. I really like this session, and in fact, we have to share more. People have to go back and rewatch, because even me, I will still go back and rewatch. I took a lot of notes, quite exciting. There's a lot of notes regarding embracing continuous and never ending improvement. We are raising Gen Z and Gen Alpha. For me, I'm raising Gen Alpha. And our times and their times are not the same. These are children who use tablets in school. I mean, we barely start using phone. Is it when we're in secondary school? And those phones were Nokia touch. Not long we start using the Android. They know so much. Many times they come to tell me this. I'm like, come on, what you're telling me is what I learned in my university. So now it's called that we really need to study, we really need to improve ourselves so much. Else, these our children will not even be able to trust, or they see us as obsolete. Plus our wound that we haven't healed. Before you know, we create a gap between us and them. And then we're like, I don't know what I'm not getting. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. I wish I can give you a hug now. Like, so amazing. Thank you. Yeah.
You're
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
for sharing with us so graciously. It's been a very insightful session. I have so much that I have put here that I'm definitely going to go back to. I mean, you talked about having the El Shaddai mentality. I believe lots of parents can relate to this, especially because of what Stella just highlighted. We go on social media, forgetting that what we see on social media is curated content, and then we want to base our daily activities or our own performance based on what we see, and then we put ourselves in a position where we're pressured, we're trying to be like other people, forgetting that we have our own reality and we're dealing with children who have different personalities, so that was really profound. And then you talked about the fact that we may be parenting behind the mask. I think that is one of the high points for me, because really until the mask is taken off, it means you are not even being real, you're not even being authentic. And then you said who raised you. Until you treat the roots, I mean, the challenges just go on and on. You mentioned so many things that really stood out for me. You talked about resisting the fire brigade approach, 911 approach. You talked about normalizing therapy, sitting down with a qualified therapist. We talked about that in the last session, how we need to just move past this stereotypes that, you're going to see a therapist, something must be wrong with you. I loved how you talked about the fact that your children had to go through therapy at some point. And this is something that I tell the parents in my community, or even when I'm on other platforms. I have also had to go through a number of therapies because we evolve daily. And for you to really give your best to your child or to your family, you really need to heal. I mean, there's no perfect parent. We just want to be the best parent for our children. And so this has really been very, it has been an awakening session. And I believe that lots of parents are going to go back to begin to audit themselves to see where they're falling short. And, I just loved how you talked about loving yourself. Self care is one of the best gifts that we can give to ourselves. I don't want to keep you waiting for too long, but this has been so, so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
with
you
us.
for
And
having me.
please, everyone, I want you to follow at DINMA on Instagram. Please, can you put it up? Please follow her on Instagram when you're talking about inner child healing. You're talking about, and she does maritals as well. She's your go-to person. Please go and follow her. Premarital counseling. inner child healing. In fact, she's the queen of happiness, so you should understand what I'm talking about. Just go there. She's someone that I respect, and her services tested and trusted. So please go follow her. Thank you so much to our audience. I don't know if there's any question in the audience. We had some questions that came in earlier, but in the course of your session, you already answered those questions. And I believe that those parents, I can see some of them in the chat, they already got their answers. Okay, so someone is saying there's a part of me that is very confused how these sessions are free. Oh, God bless you, winning parenting and team. Thank you so much. Amen to your prayer. God, please do us a favor. It is free, but it costs us so much. The best you can do is help us spread this gospel of positive parenting. Please share, tell people about this session so that we can all learn and evolve. Thank you so much for your kind words. All right. Okay, so Thrive Family Network says, how do we balance the truth, setting them free, and also teaching them that actions have consequences? Referring to the students who reported themselves and still got expelled. Okay, ma'am, could you quickly answer that question if it's okay?
All right. Yeah, thank you. First of all, the school itself, they violated their policy. Their policy was, if a student is caught in examination malpractice, they will be expelled. The bottom line is that they didn't catch the children. So if the children did not report themselves, they wouldn't have known. So by wanting to give that punishment, you yourself have been unjust, because your policy said if you catch. That's first of all. So now, are we normalizing cheating? No. They need to now begin to even build a system of honesty. These children could have been given some charity, community service, whatever, but not to met the ultimate punishment on them, because they didn't deserve that. And now you are now seeing some children who have consciences that are alive. Do you know that those children could be interviewed to even sieve out, why did you choose to report yourself? So they begin to get something from them, where they are even acting as mentors or ambassadors to their other colleagues to teach them about being honest. But now, what I told the school was that you have already shut the rest of your school from ever being honest. Nobody who does anything will come and own up anymore, because they have seen that who owned up. And that's how we even do as parents. Your child owns up to something that you didn't know, you will still beat them, you will still punish them. Then tomorrow you say they are not telling you the truth. It doesn't work that way. They will be encouraged for speaking up the truth. They will be given discipline. What is discipline? Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is reinforced good behavior. So it's to find out from them, why did they cheat? Was it because they were afraid they will not pass? Was it because they did not prepare well? Can you teach them good study habits? Can you even teach them? Think about it. You, all of us that are here, if you have ever done examination practice, why did you do it? Is it that you were anxious or afraid that you will not pass? Or is it that you did not prepare well? So if you learn how to prepare better, and if you learn how to deal with anxiety, you are not likely going to do examination malpractice if you are not a damaged person. So these children did not deserve to be expelled. They just needed to be taught how to address the things that made them cheat. Give them community service so that people will see that bad behavior is not celebrated, and let them also act like encouragers or models to their fellow students of why honesty is important. But the school totally lost that learning opportunity by what they did. Can you hear me, or am I frozen?
Yes.
Because
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
oh, I'm done speaking. I finished answering the question. Yeah, you were keeping quiet. I was wondering if I was frozen.
Okay. We went off before you finished. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really learned a lot, to be honest. My note is full. Thank
There's
you.
no way they will come back to us to be honest, because when they tried to be honest, I mean, the response they got was not encouraging at all. Thank you so much, ma'am. And please, I want us to just release our guest because I know she has other things to do. Please appreciate her in the comment section. Appreciate her in the comment section. If you know that you got value from tonight's section. Oh my God, see me saying section. If you got value from tonight's session, please appreciate Mrs. DINMA NWOBI. Thank you so much for coming. And to our dear parents, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here from day one and from session 1. This is session 6, and it's been a great time of learning. You and I will attest to the fact that we have had a mindset shift from Mandy's session to Barrister Taiwo Akinlami's session to Mrs. Obo's session to Dr. Abiri's session to Mrs. Oyedepo's session, and now it has been back-to-back value. Please just help us share these videos, help us share these resources so that more people, more parents can access them. And I also want to take this opportunity to invite you for the physical session this Saturday. It's happening at the Oriental Hotel. If you are in Lagos, please take time to be with us. Take out time to be with us. It will be worth your while. We have 14 speakers who will be blessing us with value, like value upon value on Saturday. We have 3 panel sessions. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. So please, if you have enjoyed the sessions so far, and even if you are not in Lagos, tell your people who are in Lagos to show up. Let's learn together, because like I have been saying over and over again, we will keep complaining until we begin to take action. Over to you, Stella. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It's amazing. Thank you. And every one of this session was every one of these sessions seemed to be anointed, like so powerful, profound. We learned a lot, and we're really going to go back. In fact, it's going to take 2 weeks, to go through those 6 sessions, 6 virtual sessions. I'm not in Lagos, I'm in Abuja. I'm going to miss the physical session. Is it going to be recorded for us?
I don't know about that for now. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But fingers
And
crossed.
I hope subsequently in the future we can have conference in Abuja as well.
Definitely.
It's really, I'm going to share this a lot because I really learned a lot. I really wish I was. Please, someone just popped out.
Hello. Hello, Bobby's on duty. It's okay. It's okay. It's
Right,
okay.
thank you so much.
All right.
I'm
Thank
really
you so much,
blessed.
Stella. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So, dear parents, thank you so much. I cannot appreciate you enough for everyone in the comment section. Oh my God. Yeah. Everyone in the comment section. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing the links. And please, I want you to share some more. Share. Let us push our message. Let's put it out there so that we can begin to experience this shifts we need to create change in the family unit. Thank you so much. I hope to see you on Saturday. I can't wait to hug you. I can't wait to, just be with you and just have a great time learning and having fun. I'll see you again on Saturday. And for those who are not in Lagos, I'll see you on social media. Follow us at Winning in Parenting for more insightful content on parenting. And, like we said during this session, yes, when you get on social media, you would see a lot of things. You see a lot of content, you interact with a lot of content, but please always learn to apply this content to your own reality. Understand that the children you're dealing with have their own personalities. Understand that the person talking has their own reality. So you can take the approach, you can take the principles, but please apply to your own reality so that you are not hammering on your children and you're saying you're not doing it like this, you're not doing it like that. You need to understand that they have been wired in a particular way, so that we are not uprooting as we are planting, so that we are not, destroying the fruits that we are sowing. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Sandra Uluwadari, and I'm the convener of this amazing conference and the founder of Winning in Parenting. I'll see you again in 2025 at the conference. For those who are not coming on Saturday, and for those who are coming on Saturday, I cannot wait to see you. We are going to have a great time. All right, take care. It's bye for now. Thank you so much. Love you right back. Thank you. Bye for now. Please, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel,
We gather together, hearts full of dreams.
if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so that you can get notified whenever we have awesome content to help you on your parenting journey. Thank you so much. It's me signing out. Bye for now.
We gather together, hearts full of dreams. Parents united, stronger than they seem. With every hug and word we say, we're building futures day by day. Building strong foundations right from the start. Teaching with love, pouring from the heart. Parenting for the future, hold on tight. Together we will guide them right. Nurturing dreams, watching them grow. In every moment